I'm sure you've been told by your senseis to rotate your hips or to twist your hips. However, the one thing that they don't understand is that the hip itself does not rotate. So in this video, I'm giving a full tutorial, and I mean it, a full tutorial, the best one on YouTube, about hip rotation. So keep watching until the end, and I'm not gonna make you regret it. Hi guys, I'm Yusuke at Karate Dojo Japan, and thank you so much for checking out today's video. The video is going to be break down into these topics, and let's get started with the first one. Alright, so before we actually move on to the technique part, you have to have your body warmed up. I think you can see me sweating already because I took another video an hour ago. So make sure you watch this one to stretch out your body and to warm itself up. The muscles that you especially focus on is the front groin, the side of the glutes, and the hamstrings and the Achilles tendon area. So make sure you stretch those parts out, make sure they're warm and nice, and move on to step 2. Right, now that you're warmed up, step 2 is stabilizing your axis. Let's get started from the first step. First, stand together with your legs together. By this point, there might be 2 or 3 mistakes that you might be making. Mistake number 1, you're tilted to either side, left or the right. Mistake number 2, you're either tilted to the front or the back. Mistake number 3, you are tilted this way and curved. Therefore, let's fix that one step by step. First, legs together, and you can face the side or the front, but I'm going to face the side, it's easier for you guys. Go on your toes, like this. From here, slowly feel every part of the bottom of your foot touching the floor and go down. And stop where you feel the most balanced. This position is where the weight is evenly distributed throughout the bottom of your foot. If you slam your heel down, you're going to lean down. If you jump and get down from the toes, you're going to lean forward. So you want to be first fixing this. So now that you're right in the middle, now if you have a mirror or a window when it's dark outside, you can see the reflection of yourself, right? So make sure you're not leaned this way or tilted. Make sure you are straight. That is step number 1. Also, if you have a long stick, a broomstick or anything is fine, place yourself right in the middle and look at yourself in the mirror. That might help you out as well. So now that your axis is straight, this is the most important part actually of this whole video, is to stabilize and to get your pelvis upright. What I mean is I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube about hip rotation. However, the one thing missing is some people have the pelvis down and they're trying their best to rotate, which is not going to work. What you must do first is to fix your hip from being like this. Ladies out there, it is easier for all of you to have the hip like this. It is just natural for you guys. So, don't worry, just try your best to follow the instructions I'm going to be saying. First, make 2 fists. Place one fist right under the belt, so right on the bladder, and then the other one at the top of your abs. From here, what I like you to do is keep those points in place. Okay, don't slide them around. Keep this in the same spot and have the bottom one pushed down like this. I think here you can feel the pressure on your lower back. This is something you don't want to do. Okay, so I'm not sure nobody's going to be walking around like this, but I'm sure some people are naturally like this. So what I'd like you to do is now bring this bottom fist up and turn the hip up like this. The ab will get crushed together and the lower back will just slide straight down. So like this. Instead of being like this, you want to get the hip like this. So now that you have this strong core, this is how you're supposed to be moving or living your daily life if you don't want to suffer from any lower back problems in the future. So for now, feel that tightness or feel that locked sensation and just try walking around, having a cup of coffee, relax, watch the video with this. If you're sitting on a chair, you can still do it. Sit on a chair, and if you're sitting like this, you have to sit upright and do so. Alright, moving on to step 3. Congratulations so far. Now we're going to be doing rotation in the same spot. So first, we were like this before. Spread your legs out wide. This will make it easier for you to maintain the center of core because now you have a bigger base that your body can rely on. Now, you imagine you have one center line running across your in between the eyebrows, your nose, mouth, chest, etc. From here, spread your arm out wide and turn your body like this. Here, what you're basically doing is you're pushing yourself with the leg like this. The leg is moving, that's why the hip moves. The hip itself, you can't do anything about it, it's just a bone. So make sure you move from the legs. So don't have the legs completely straight, just relax it a little bit and rotate to the side. What I like you to keep in mind is not to move like this, to the side or front, back, this. Okay, keep your center line straight and rotate on that axis. Another point, keep your head face forward. Don't look sideways. Keep the head locked. Because when you're sparring or anything, you don't want to be looking like this. You want the head forward but the body sideways. So always like this. If you also have a stick, something long at home, you can use something like this for assistance. Have it running through the back. Oops. And try moving like this. That's one way you can use a broomstick or something like that. Now, step 2. This is the second most important point for the lesson. What we've done so far is we moved the hip in one way and the arm followed it, right? However, I think you've seen people do this. This rotation, the opposite direction. I think people describe it as opposite hip rotation or double twist or something like that. The reason why we're doing this, listen carefully, is it speeds you up. Try this. First, big motion. Boom, boom. Now, when the arm gets around here, pull back the hip. That speeds up the arm. This is one. This is one big motion. Now, add a second twist. By doing this, the arm speeds up more. That's why we have the gyaku goshi in Japanese, reverse hip. But what you're basically doing is you're going, I'll do it in slow motion by facing the same way as you guys. Let's say I turn to the left like this. Usually, you would turn both of the hips in the same way. But now what you want to do is bam, pump. Pom, pom. Left, right, or no, other side. Left, right. Left, right. If you have a belt, please put them on so it's easier for you to notice what the center is right now for you. So do that over and over. While doing this, don't tilt to the side, okay? I might be moving too fast, so if you have any questions, please write down in the comment section below. Also, I provide private and group lessons online, so if you'd like to check that out, please check it out from this link up above. The first week for the group lesson is free, so why don't you give it a try? Let's continue with the video. All right, we're still on step 3, doing the hip rotation in the same spot. Let's power that up. What I'd like to do now is use your lower body more flexibly. Now, what you'd like to do is bend your ankle a bit, bend your knees a little bit, and right here a little bit. So have this cushion, and with this step, you're going to be doing the same thing. So first, load on the right hip and swing to the left. Now you have more this cushiony rubber movement. Now on the left hip, imagine having something heavy here and you're going to throw it this way. Imagine having a huge rock, you want to throw that. You want to place it on the hip and throw it to the other side. This is the big motion, the first rotation we cover, not the double one. Hip here and out. I'll do it from this way, and then forward. Make sure your foot doesn't move around. If your feet moves around, you can't really control yourself. Make sure they're rigid, stationary on the ground, and this way. On the hip, out this way. Now, moving on to step 2. Like you guys guessed, we are doing the double rotation now. On the right hip, boom, boom. I'll do it from here. like this. Get used to that. If you have something heavy like a water bottle, it might help you so you can actually feel the power transferring to the front or to the side. So give that a try. Okay, now we're going to be doing the rotation with a zenkusudachi in the same spot, front stance. So let's stand in your front stance. Whatever style you do, you might be high, low. I don't really mind. However, one point to keep in mind is the direction of your knees and your toes. This is something that everybody should be following, so please listen carefully because some of the black belts make this mistake a lot too. So first, make sure the toe and the knee is faced relatively to the front. What I mean is, if it's facing the side, you're going to be feeling the pressure on the big toe like this. This is something you don't want to do. This motion is for stopping. Like if you do football, basketball, anything, lots of sports, you stop yourself and redirect like this, right? This is a redirecting movement, this. However, if you want to keep the motion going forward, the foot usually goes to the direction of your movement, like this. You don't see any track and field people running like this, right? They run like this. Same reason. Don't be like this. Here, have it like this. From here, when you face the side, do not open up the knee. Keep the full flat surface on the floor and rotate your thigh. This is the key point. Rotate your thigh and draw the hip back and not the leg like this. This way, you're going to be punching like this. That's not what you want to do. So that's the only rule that I recommend you to follow. Now let's do it step by step. First, hip to the front. Knee, toe, facing the front. Now, what I'd like you to do is bend your back leg. Okay? The direction of your toes and your knees doesn't change by this point. Here, bend it. Make sure the heel doesn't pop up. From here, what you're going to do is draw this hip back. Okay? Now, you're facing the side. From here, what you're going to do is feel the weight on the heel here. Push the body with the heel, extend the leg, and rotate the hip. That allows your hip to rotate. And how does the upper body move? Well, when the hip rotates, the back rotates too. That's how the upper body moves. So one more time, face from the front, bend, pull this side back, and now push from the heel, turn the hip, and the upper body moves. One key point here is this is a difference between shotokan and some other styles. In shotokan, you bring the back hip forward. So you keep this side straight, and you bring the back side here. I've seen shitoryu have it to the side, and they rotate in the center line like this. So depending on your style and the kata and the scene that you're practicing, please change it up. Just know what movement you're doing. So one more time, knee, toe forward, back here. Make sure the knee doesn't lift up, and push from the heel, and rotate. Another key point, guys, when you face the side, don't get the front knee in. The front knee must be twisted outwards, like this. So make sure the knee is kept twisted to the outside, and you go into a hami. So this, your pelvis becomes open by this point. And then you close it down. So do that a couple times with the punch, whatever you would like to do. First, imagine yourself as a big sheet of paper or a wooden board, and you want to bring the board like this. However, if you're more advanced, you should practice it in more of like a sliding concept. First, like I mentioned, you practice like this. However, this is a big motion and it's slow. What you like to do is, now you're going to be moving like a bow and arrow. You're going to be pulling back one side and sliding this side forward. This and this, the result is the same. The body's doing the same thing. However, the mechanism, the process, is a bit different. If you have something, a stick, or again, a water bottle, something like that. Place it on the hip, draw back, and poke forward or throw forward. That way you can get the feeling. So far we learned how to rotate in the same spot. Now what we're going to do is we're going to be adding a front movement. Let's do from a zenkusudachi. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be standing forward and rotating the hip to the zenkusudachi. Points to keep in mind. Number one, bend the leg that you're going to be pushing yourself from. In my case, we're going to be landing from the right, so the motor is on the left side. Make sure you're not doing this. This is falling. However, if you bend, then straight, that's the same thing as this, right, that we've done. So the goal is to make this shape within the process of stepping in. So first, here, draw the hip back a bit and bend the knee. From here, make sure you're not like this, always still. From here, without getting the heel up, make sure you rely your whole weight on the bottom of your foot and push yourself out by rotating the hip and getting the leg straight. So do that a couple of times. Here, both legs. Make sure the heel doesn't open up. That means the power has gone this way. You want to maintain the power here and out forward. So do that a couple times for zenkusudachi. Now for kokusudachi, you're going to be moving from the front to the side. Zenkusudachi was from the side to the front, but kokusudachi is the other way around. Therefore, there are some slight differences. First, if you're doing nekowashidachi, the hip rotation is the same thing, so listen carefully. First, same thing. You bend the pivoting leg. You bend the leg, and by the time it's bent, you keep the knee and the toe forward, and get the other leg, together. So make sure you're not going directly to the stance like this. You're moving close and then in. So form an L or an opposite L, mirrored L. From here, you're going to keep the hip to the front, get the leg forward, and at the last moment, you're going to turn the hip. One more time. Straight, knee, toe forward. So don't open up by this point. Then your hip is going to rotate. Keep it to the front. At the end, this is when you rotate. So if you do it a little more smoothly, it's bump. Straight, and then open. So do that a couple of times. A few mistakes that people make is they bring the hip, let's do it from this side. You bring the hip like this. Or depending on the style and the stance, that might be the correct one. However, keep your hip, again, posture here, not like this. Here, keep it like that, and get your leg down, like this. So not like this. Here, sit on it, and do the stance. And lastly, kibadachi, horse stance. If you do shikodachi, similar movement. First, you get it on one leg, and then straight forward. So up to here is the same as kokusudachi, back stance. And then from here, you rotate at the last moment. So basically, the end point is different. Kokusudachi, this leg is kept forward, but the back leg rotates. In kibadachi, both legs rotate. The most important point here is to maintain the weight with the back leg. Do not let go of the weight suddenly. Keep the weight at the back, and when you're about to rotate your body, that's when you move the weight. So in Japanese, we call this nebari, like stickiness to the movement. So you have to be sticked to the ground, or you have to have that stickiness onto the movement. So what I mean is, this doesn't have stickiness, but this has stickiness. So if you know what I mean, let me know in the comment section below. Or if there's a better English phrase that's better for everybody, then please let me know in the comment section below. And yeah, that was step number 4. Guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope this helped you guys a lot. To sum up, you warm up first, and then you fix your posture. Number 3, you rotate in the same spot. Number 4, you add a forward momentum to it. Yes, there are variances such as moving backwards, moving to the side. However, the basics are covered in this video. So if you like it, please like the video and share it with your friend, or please save it to your playlist wherever you can. And also, if you have any questions that I wasn't able to answer, then please drop down in the comment section below. I love to learn style differences, and if there's anything I missed, I'd like to learn from that, so please do so in the comment section below. And if you'd like to learn something like this with me, then please consider joining my online group lesson and private lessons from here. So I will see you guys in the next video.